Alright, so how to stop being socially anxious. So here's me socializing, essentially. Watching football, watching the World Cup, and then here's me in fucking. Well, this isn't me. This isn't me, that isn't me, but this is in Sweden. And so, I was saying all of this because I used to be fucking extremely insecure in a lot of ways, and I would go as far to say that I'm nothing like that anymore. Also, this is for the fucking regular viewers, right? I just recorded like a 50-minute video that ended up not working, which is fucking shit. It's fucking complete shit show, that one. On my exact habits on how I got out of a rut. So I just want to get another video out today. I already recorded one, and then I did the fucking 50-minute long one. So this is actually the third video I'm cooking up today. But yeah, I'll just give you this one instead, and then I'll record probably tomorrow the longer one. So let's get the fuck straight into it. So how to stop being socially anxious. Number one is discomfort. Okay, so if you're socially anxious, it's kind of a complex matter realistically, but to put it simply, you're probably uncomfortable. Now, the first thing to note is you kind of have this comfort zone. Of course, so you got this zone where your comfort zone, where you are comfortable. And let's say it's this. And this is all familiar. And again, this is the comfort zone. Now, in order for you to grow, in order for you to actually advance, what do you need to do? In order for you to become more social, well, you need to get the fuck out of the zone. So you need to take the zone, go, now fuck off, I'm going outside, and you need to get out. Now, the question is then, well, how do you get out of the zone? So you know you need to get out of the comfort zone. Because you can't grow if you're in this zone. Like, it doesn't matter how many YouTube videos you watch on socializing, none of them matters. You need to get the fuck out of your comfort zone. And the question is, well, how do you get out of the comfort zone? Well, the way you do it is you do it one step at a time. So you don't have to make it a big deal, okay? Like if you want to start social, you don't have to make it something like out of this world. Let's say this line is your kind of represents your comfort zone. So on the left side, this is where you're comfortable, and this is where you're uncomfortable. In order for you to kind of push the boundaries, and especially with socializing and whatnot, you don't have to do that much. Because you might have this idea of, okay, I need to do this, I need to connect with more people. What you don't want to do is don't make it a big deal. You don't have to make it a big deal. You don't. It can literally be as simple as talking to someone new. Well, okay, so the most plain thing would probably be like saying hi to a stranger, for example. Now, if that feels weird, maybe what you do is you talk to like a cashier, and instead of just saying hi, you do like hi, running out of space, you go hi, how are you? Obviously you can come up with stuff yourself, but the point is you do just +1, and then you do +1 on that, and then you do a +1. And so you end up doing these small things like, is saying hi, how are you gonna change your life? No. But you're gonna take that thing and you're gonna do it as a mental win. Okay? So you just do +1, +1, +1, +1. But now you're on +5. And now all of a sudden, because the increments are so damn small, what ends up happening is you keep pushing up kind of this baseline of comfort here. You keep pushing it up, you keep raising the baseline, and so now you can scrap this old one and this new one becomes the baseline. Okay, but you do it one step. You do it one step at a time, because if you try to do it all, well, that's gonna be quite a lot and it's gonna be hard to maintain, and you're gonna maybe get this idea that, well, I'm not a social person, man, what the fuck am I doing? Whereas if you do it like this, essentially what you're doing is you're kind of letting it almost like creep in. And because it creeps in, you're gonna be able to maintain it a lot better. So when you want to start socializing more, when you want to kind of get over that social anxiety, a lot of it is just pushing to the discomfort and then just doing +1. Now another kind of thing to note, and a tactic to note, is say the first thing. And specifically say the first thing that comes to mind. So you don't, like, because look, if you're socially anxious, you probably think about what you're gonna say. Now, what you wanna do is you wanna practice saying the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. What that does is that it decreases the resistance to starting a conversation. Because now you can just say, even dumb shit, like you see someone, that motherfucker has like a blue jacket, you go, you got a blue jacket. Like, and you might say, well, why would you say someone's got a blue jacket? Like, you might be a complete fucking autist about it. But you don't want to do this. You don't want to think about it. Like, it's not that weird, okay? Because you're in your own head. If you look at someone and go, like, okay, you got a blue jacket. Well, you're gonna get out of your head and into the convo. And then we can have a conversation with that motherfucker. Now, obviously, if you're not at that level yet, then don't push for it necessarily, but you can just compliment someone like that as well. But you want to get into the habit of saying the first thing that comes to mind. Because that way you don't overthink, that way you don't give yourself kind of... Like, one common thing that happens, like motherfuckers, like you see a pretty chick, people will start to overthink what to say. Okay. And usually when people overthink what to say to a chick, this is what happens. Instead of just going and saying, how's your workout going? Let's say it's at the gym, how's your workout going? People will go, nope, I do a fucking 180. That's not where you want to be. And so that's, when you practice saying the first thing, what's going to end up happening is that you will be the motherfucker that goes up to this chick and just says, how are you doing? Because that was the thought you had. Maybe she's got nice shoes, you got nice shoes. Like, it can be fucking anything. And so a lot of it is to kind of get your own mental guards down. Now, one thing that's going to help you a lot is this. Like, that's as far as kind of tactics, small shit. If you really want to make big progress, and I actually say like something else you can do is like work in a bar. I haven't done this, but I know people who do it. I'd say that's kind of a big core tipple as well. Either one of these is gonna be massive, because in both you get paid, right? You get literally paid to be social. Now, arguably, I mean, they're not that easy, either of them, realistically. With sales, I'm specifically talking about door-to-door sales, which is what I've done. I also done cold calling. Both are good, but what I would say is door-to-door is definitely the way to go. And so, guess what that's gonna do is this. So most people, if you look at most people would be afraid to knock, okay? Most people would be afraid to knock on doors. Now you get put in an environment where you can make money through knocking on people's doors. And so what you're doing with this is you're kind of forcing yourself to do it. Because usually when you start door-to-door sales, the way it works is you roll up to the door here, but you don't start alone. You go with like maybe another newbie, another rookie, and then you go with the kind of like manager, kind of who's managing you. And so you roll up to this door with the manager, and that's gonna push you to actually knock on it. Because, like, think about it, if you're doing it alone, you can always kind of give yourself the out, no one really knows what you're doing, but when you got this other person here, you're almost like forced to do it. Now, the first couple of times, like maybe, well, I'd say like this, like the first 1 to 3 are like the roughest, right? Because you don't know what to say. I've done this specifically, like in door-to-door sales. You roll up to the door, you're kind of from like, hey, yeah, I'm from AX, yeah, would you be interested in some shit? You effectively go like that. Now you might say, ah, fuck. Like, this is an extremely important thing. You don't want to get down because of what you said or because it's weird, okay? Look. You can't think about it in terms of, well, that was awkward. Like the first time you knock on someone's door, like unless you're already versed in it, I mean, it's gonna be awkward because you're not gonna really remember your line. It's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. But what you wanna think about it is, well, first of all, you get the first 1 to 3, which is already gonna make it a lot easier to do the following. But then also, what's gonna happen is you're gonna kind of say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you get these reps here. And when you start getting in these reps, these reps right here, this is progress. You're getting better, okay? And so this is gonna do a lot for you. Now, specifically with door-to-door sales, and I suppose it work in a board, well, door-to-door sales, that's kind of my field. So in door-to-door sales, you will have people who actually, not a lot necessarily, but you will get sometimes people who scream at you. The reason why stuff like, reason why sales and working in a bar is good is because you get a lot of social interactions. Maybe a bar is almost less stakes because you're dealing with cheaper shit than like door-to-door sales because you're doing like a couple of hundred in commission. But I digress. The reason why this is good is because you, like for example in sales, because I know these numbers, you get like 40, yeah, like maybe you get like 40 to 70 doors per day, okay? And maybe like 20 plus conversations. And mind you, this is 20 strangers, okay? These are 20 unique situations. And all of this like screaming, all these unique situations, what that's gonna do is it's gonna start building thicker skin. And eventually what it will do is it's gonna boost your confidence. And it's gonna, not used to using Loom, so that's why I'm moving myself around. It's gonna increase your confidence. And it's just gonna increase your ability to deal with situations. And so you won't be that worried anymore because of the thicker skin. Now, of course, again, even door-to-door sales, even that's one step at a time. Plus one, plus one, plus one. But you will build a thicker skin, and that's gonna make your life a lot easier than when you take that skill. Then let's say this is the door. When you take this skill, you can then transfer this into other shit. Okay, maybe you want to transfer it to cold calling, whatever the fuck, maybe you want to work in a bar. This is gonna make it way better. Also with sales, specifically on stuff like tonality. I'm the greatest at it, so probably go watch like Jordan Belfort if you want actual tonality. But tonality is a big one. You learn stuff like body language, and holy shit, my writing is horrendous. But you learn stuff like tonality and body language. Now, this is gonna beat a book by like 50x. Why? Why does this beat a book by 50x? Because not only, like, it's not that you're just reading about it in this book here. God, that, holy shit, this is hard. It's not just that you're reading it in this book here, or you're learning it, you're actually learning it from this motherfucker that has made like 100k in sales. Probably more than that, like, let's be real, probably like $500,000 in sales that this motherfucker has made. You're learning from this guy. Okay? And you're getting like actual feedback. Like, you're getting feedback in terms of the doors you knock on. But even when you practice at the office. So you see how this is way better than just reading about it. And so if you're not gonna do sales, what you should do still is you learn one concept, so maybe you learn. I mean, there is this one guy, Chris Voss, who was a negotiator, like terrorist, essentially, hostage negotiator for the FBI. He has these different tactics, and one thing is just mirroring, which is, this is a bit over what actually this video is about, but I'll just highlight it real quick. He has this thing about mirroring, which is when someone says, yeah, you know, so I was actually riding my motorcycle today. Let's say you don't know that that guy has a motorcycle, we'll go, motorcycle? And that whole tactic, when you just ask, motorcycle? Is designed so that the person goes, yeah, you know, I got this motorcycle. And he starts yapping on. But this is a specific tactic on how to get people to talk more, so I'm not gonna get into this too much right here. But there are all these things that you will learn when you do door-to-door sales. And really the point again is, if you, let's say, do read Chris Voss, what you wanna do is you wanna read and you wanna get to the point of mirroring. And then you wanna take this shit. This is your house. You wanna take this shit, you get the fuck out of your house and you actually try it. Maybe try it. I'd say, I don't really remember how many times I tried something in sales, but of course, like if you do 100x of something, you know for sure. But I'd say like at least aim to do like perhaps like 5x. If that's too much, just do 1. But really something like 5x. So that you kind of get the hang of it and you kind of get an idea of did it work or not, or 10, even better. But you get the idea. If you learn something you want to actually try it, you don't just want to sit behind the computer all day. Because at the end of the day you're talking about social shit, and there will be a whole lot of social cues. Like these people have these expressions on their faces, you gotta learn those. You gotta learn when people are being sarcastic. You get the idea. So that's why sales is sales is good. The other, and this is kind of the last thing I want to highlight about how to stop being socially anxious. So in order for you to make, fucking fingers itching, fucking mosquitoes. But so in order for you to make a lot of progress fast, there is this concept of extreme seasons. I might make another separate video on this exact thing. But so in terms of extreme seasons, let's say this is your day, this is kind of your schedule. You want all of this shit to be focused on one thing, and that's being social. Because when you're trying to improve on this, you want to spend like, I'm just saying some shit here, right? But if you can't spend 80% of your day on socializing, you're gonna fly past anyone who kind of just dabbles in it, well, let's say 5%. Because what this 80% here does is that it'll... Fuck. So let's get back to this. So what this 80% does is that it allows you to use kind of all your thoughts on this one thing. All thoughts go here on socializing. And so you will literally, and I'm not capping, you will literally learn like 10x faster. And again, this is a reason why sales and do some social work, like working at a bar, like of course almost every job is social in that sense, but like those two specifically where you have to interact with customers, I mean they're fucking godsend. If you can work those jobs, work those fucking jobs. Like you don't even have to get great at sales, but just having the experience of having people scream at you, being in different situations, will allow you to learn a shit ton. And so because you spend like 1 to 2 months on just focusing on socializing, just working social jobs, maybe you kind of slack on the gym, whatnot. You'll learn so much in those 2 months that then for the next 6 months, you won't even have to think about socializing. You'll just be fine with it. Whereas if you do like, again, if you go back to the 5% thing, if you only spend 5% of your day focused on getting better and less anxious socially, it's gonna take you a lot longer and it's gonna be a lot more painful. Whereas if you're just gonna jump into the deep end and do all of these things, and again, don't jump into the deep end in the sense that do something that you feel is too scary or too anxiety inducing, but one step at a time, preferably get to the point where you can do the sales thing again. Like, I'll break this down real quick even. So, you might think that sales is way out here in the fucking stratosphere, and that you'll never be confident enough for that. Well, that's cap. Because it's, like with getting the sales job, step 1 is apply. So, this is where meditation also helps, granted, because you don't worry about stuff that happens in the future as much. Okay. Step 1 is apply. That's the first thing you do. Literally just apply. You don't have to sit there and worry about, what am I going to say in the interview? No. Step 1 is you start to apply to those sales jobs. Step 2 is you get the interview. Step 3 is like you show up. Like only after these steps here do you even have to consider knocking on doors. But you don't have to knock on a single motherfucker for all this time. Okay? So again, just go one step at a time. Push the boundary. +1, +1, +1. And you'll eventually get to the point where you can talk to anyone about anything. You won't be socially anxious anymore. Right. That's all I got for you today. A bit of a shorter video on how to go from being insecure to actually, well, being socially anxious to not necessarily even to the point where you're social chat, but this is more like how to kind of get the basics in order there are some ways to actually go about it and how to get it done. So, again, that's all I got for you today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.